Michigan football's 2025 recruiting class is once again in the spotlight, but not because they're outside of the top 50 in recruiting rankings after winning the national championship, or because they only have 3, 4, or 5 commits heading into the spring and summer months. Rather, Michigan is in the spotlight because yesterday they picked up 2 top 100 players in tight end Andrew Olesh and safety Ivan Taylor. And in the past 30 days alone, Michigan has received 11 commits, mostly from blue chip players. The average rank of recruit, the fact that Michigan poached Ivan Taylor from Notre Dame, the fact that Andrew Olesh is from Pennsylvania and was being recruited by Alabama and Penn State, and Michigan still got him from Penn State's own backyard, tells me that Sherrone Moore could be a better recruiter than Jim Harbaugh ever was. Now, Jim Harbaugh had some of his recruiting struggles. That's obviously known. And I'm not going to say that it's definite that Moore's better than Harbaugh at recruiting, because I want to see how he recruits in the 2026, 2027, and maybe even 2028 cycle before I say, yeah, he's 100% a better recruiter than Jim Harbaugh. But what Moore is doing with recruiting right now is incredible. And today I want to talk about Michigan's recruiting class and specifically focus on Andrew Olesh and Ivan Taylor and what they bring to the table in Ann Arbor. Because the reality is, for every recruiting class, there will be some decommits, and some will be painful, some on National Signing Day or early National Signing Day. But most of these players are going to stick with their current schools. Welcome back, fellow football fanatics. It's your host, College Football with Sam. We are less than 2 months away from kickoff, and I know you're excited. I'm certainly excited. If you want to receive coverage of the 2024 college football season, whether it's Michigan, Ohio State, the rest of the Big Ten, or games across the country, please hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell so that you can get notified when I release new college football content. And perhaps more importantly, like this video and share it around so we can get into the algorithm. And also, sharing this video around will help us receive not just more views, more likes, but also likely more subscriptions. As if you know anyone who's a college football fan, they will, I'm 99% sure, enjoy college football with Sam in some capacity, and maybe even be a fellow football fanatic and join this awesome community. At 20,000 subscribers, we will be doing a giveaway, and our first video that has been posted this year that reaches 1,000 likes, I will be doing a giveaway of College Football 25. And yeah, that's that. So if you can do those things, like videos, subscribe, and also comment your thoughts on Michigan's recruiting class. Do you think that Michigan's recruiting will slow down, or will it continue to speed up and catch momentum like it has right now? Let me know. First and foremost, I want to do a quick overview of this class. Michigan currently has 15 commits, 13 or 4 stars, 2 or 3 star players, and the average rank per recruit is a 91.85, very close to a 92. No Jim Harbaugh recruiting class ever reached that number. Now, that number is not what you see with Ohio State or Georgia or Alabama, who are in the 93, 94. Sometimes they even get close to the 95 average rank per recruit, which is just insane. I don't know if any class per 24/7 Sports composite has ever passed that. I think in 24/7 Sports, not using any other rankings factoring in, I think maybe 2021 Ohio State did, but I don't follow recruiting super closely. I'm trying to follow it again because I know people like talking about recruiting, and whether it's Ohio State's #1 class or Michigan picking up a ton of steam, if there's newsworthiness to recruiting, I am going to try and cover it. And this is something I'm interested in because Michigan recruiting looked somewhat dead a few months ago, and now it's alive and breathing. Ohio State will probably finish, either them or Alabama, with the nation's #1 recruiting class. Georgia is going to be up there. Oregon is rising. Penn State has been in the top 10, top 15 for the 2025 cycle for some time. And Michigan has just seemingly come out of nowhere and assembled what is so far a great recruiting class. Andrew Olesh and Ivan Taylor only add to what is Keanoa Winston, another safety, who will pair well with Ivan Taylor, and Nathaniel Marshall, high-level defensive lineman from Illinois, Jalen Williams, another high-level defensive lineman from Illinois, Avery Gatch, an offensive tackle, Bobby Kanka, a defensive lineman from Michigan, from Howell, Michigan, which actually isn't too far away from where I live. I only live like a little less than a half hour away from there, a little bit of a personal detail. But it's a great recruiting class so far. And Michigan has 5 stars that are interested in joining this class. In offensive lineman Andrew Babalola, and also wide receiver, last name of Meadows, Derek Meadows, wide receiver from Bishop Gorman in Nevada. I've heard that Michigan has been involved with plenty of Bishop Gorman high school players, and it would be nice, because Bishop Gorman is known for producing great football players, it'd be nice if Michigan can get a pipeline and a strong connection there. But the fact that they're listed as warm for Michigan, especially Babalola, who is an offensive lineman, Michigan has done exceptionally well at the offensive line position. That's encouraging news. And bringing them in and some more blue chip players, and of course, 3 stars. I mean, everyone gets more than 2-3 stars per cycle. I think even some of the best recruiting classes in the history of recruiting rankings have had much more, probably double, if not triple, the amount of 3-star players that Michigan currently has. Bringing all of those together, Michigan could have a top 10 recruiting class for the first time in several years. Especially recently, Michigan struggled to even hit top 15 in recruiting. They had the number 1 recruiting class for 2024 at one point. A few decommits and other schools receiving high-level commits, and Michigan fell right outside of the top 10, and in overall rankings factoring in the portal, they were outside of the top 15. Before we dive into these 2 commits in Andrew Olesh and Ivan Taylor, I encourage you to check out my Patreon page via the link in the description or down below in either the pinned comment or in a reply to the pinned comment. If you want your name to be featured in the middle and end of nearly every video, and for every video with a shout out by name at the end, sign up as an all conference member for $5 a month for all conference benefits plus bonus content. Sign up as an All-American, and for all of those benefits plus merchandise, free merchandise signed by me after 6 months of membership and direct access to me through messaging, sign up as a Heisman member for $25 a month. And thank you to all of my Patreons for sponsoring this channel and supporting me. And you can also support me by purchasing merchandise directly. If you don't want to pay $25 a month for 6 months and you just want to go and buy some merchandise of mine, which there's a Michigan-themed College Football with Sam t-shirt, an Ohio State-themed College Football with Sam t-shirt. All 18 Big Ten teams have their own themed College Football with Sam t-shirt on my merchandise store, which you can find via the link, again, just like the Patreon page, link in the description or down below in either the pinned comment or reply to the pinned comment. Thank you so much, and let's get into these 2 commits. So Andrew Olesh, 4-star tight end from Pennsylvania. 6 foot, about 4.5, 215 pounds. He visited Penn State, Florida, Alabama, and Michigan in June. And his biggest assets are speed, route running, and catch radius. His blocking, especially in the run blocking, is good. He's been scouted as someone who's excellent at finishing his blocks. His biggest area of improvement is just gaining weight in order to maximize his potential at the next level, scouted by Andrew Ivins. And he's rated as the 84th best player per 24/7 Sports, 118th best player per the composite, number 2 or number 3 player from Pennsylvania, depending on whether, again, composite or non-composite rankings. Currently in Pennsylvania, just an interesting fact, Penn State has not recruited their top players in Pennsylvania currently the top 7 players in Pennsylvania, per only 24/7 Sports, are committed to a combination of Missouri, Michigan, Ohio State, Duke, and Alabama. So that's probably why Penn State's recruiting class hasn't been top 10 again, or isn't a lock to be top 15, is just missing out on some of those in-state recruits. I haven't followed Penn State recruiting too closely, but that's just something interesting to note. And Michigan, they've used their tight ends a lot. I mean, just look at Colston Loveland, who's the best tight end in the nation in 2024. A.J. Barner, that's why they got him in the portal, even though Michigan already had Loveland. Luke Schoonmaker, for example, and others. They've had a habit of using tight ends, and they love big, tall tight ends. So if Olesh can put on some weight, maybe grow a little bit more in height as well, but he's already long, has a big catch radius, Michigan will use him well. I mean, even before Michigan's run of the past 3 years, think of Eubanks and Gentry in 2018, 2019, 2017, and how Michigan was able to utilize them and their talents. So he'll add a lot to this offense, in my opinion, if he sticks around. And Ivan Taylor will add a lot to the defense. Taylor's 6 foot, 174-pound safety from Florida. He visited Notre Dame, Michigan, and Bama in June, and he was previously a Notre Dame commit before flipping to Michigan yesterday. He's the son of former NFL star Ike Taylor. And on top of athleticism, his intelligence and tackling are his strongest skill sets. Michigan's secondary has been the strength of their defense for the previous 3 seasons, for the post-Don Brown era. And he'll add to the defensive back room. Recruiting and developing well at defensive back. I saw a statistic somewhere, it's been brought up over and over again, that replacing players at secondary is harder than any position on defense. It's harder than the D-line, linebacker, anywhere else. The secondary is the area where returning experience is the most valuable. I don't exactly know if that's true, but Michigan, with Rod Moore being hurt, and with, losing Mikey Sainer still, and losing Josh Wallace, nearly forgot about him, but he was a big part of the 2023 season. Michigan's secondary is a little thinner this year. They brought in a ton of transfers, and we don't know how they'll pan out. And Michigan's recruited well there, but it never, ever hurts to pick up a top 100 blue chip player to play in your secondary and be developed by some of the better defensive coaches, hopefully, because many of them are new, in the land. And it's even better that Michigan they took away Ivan Taylor in the recruiting process from Notre Dame. Taylor clearly saw something in Michigan that he preferred over Notre Dame. And I can't blame him, because Michigan has had better defenses than Notre Dame, far better defenses than the Irish, for the past 3 seasons. Basically for what is really the past, I'm blanking here, but typically players only stay with their school 4 years, maximum 5, COVID eligibility, and maybe some exceptions 6. So despite multiple classes coming in and out of Notre Dame and Michigan's just been proven to be a consistently better school on defense than Notre Dame has. That's all I have to say in this video. Just wanted to quickly go over the recruiting rankings in these 2 players, but Michigan is on fire in recruiting, and Sherrone Moore is too. Let me know down below if you think Sherrone Moore is a better recruiter than Jim Harbaugh, and thanks to my Patreon members for sponsoring this video and channel. Thanks to Crash2488 and Brasco Rascal for being Heisman members. Thanks to Chris Lane, Connor Little OH, and Ismar for being All-American members. And thanks to John Lynn, Roaming Gnome, Matthew Sale, Austin Christmas, and Janisha Cockrell for being All-Conference members. Have a great day, guys, and I will see you all soon. Bye-bye.